Hi, this is Amy Ritterbush, and I wanted to give you the select board actions taken for March 28th, 2023. At our public forum, we had 3 people comment. We had Nancy Hill, the director of the Hopkins Public Library, who gave us some statistics about the library for the last year, as well as talked about National Library Week and what activities Hopkins is going to be doing in honor of National Library Week. So everybody will be happy to attend those if they're able. Muriel Kramer also spoke at public comment and wanted to recognize the event that had happened earlier that day at the Tennessee school shooting, where some school children and staff had died. And it's really important and very sad. And then Sithmarian Ganzian spoke. He is the citizen who did the citizens petition for town meeting to stop outdoor shooting at gun ranges, and he had some questions about the use of gun ranges in Hopkinton. And we directed him to town staff in case they have that information, which they may not have. Then we had the consent agenda, which was approving the minutes of the last 2 meetings. We accepted the resignation of Michelle Leibowitz from the Hopkinton Cultural Council. We approved requests for signs in the right-of-way for the Hopkinton Lions Club. They're having Hopkinton Lions Club, and they're having a community-wide yard sale in May, and they're going to have signs up for about a month. So a good chance to clean out your house. Then we did a pre-permit application for the Jimmy Fun Walk, which was scheduled for October 1st, and for the triathlons at the Hopkinton State Park, which will be May 21st and September 10th. No road closures for those. Then let's see, we held a public hearing on street acceptances for Fox Hollow Road and Box Mill Road, and neither of those seemed quite ready to be approved yet. So we continued the public hearing till April 11th in hopes that they might be able to finish up some remaining items on their to-do list before we could recommend them for town meeting this year. But if they don't get moved forward, they could also go forward a future year if they're just not quite ready this year. We approved a special temporary alcohol license for the Knights of Columbus, who will be having a fundraiser at St. John's Parish Hall on May 6th. Then we had new employee appointment. We considered the town manager's appointment of Darius Reynoso as the heavy equipment operator for the Department of Public Works. It sounds like he'd already been with us for a little while doing some other work, but now he'll be a regular full-time employee. We did some board and committee appointments. We appointed Doris Early to the Board of Registrars. We appointed Diane Hayward to the Sustainable Green Committee. We appointed Scott News as an associate member of the Historical Commission, and we appointed Timothy Ritterbush as an alternate member of the Upper Charles Trail Committee. Next, we learned about the Middlesex County Retirement System COLA, and we approved the COLA as proposed in Chapter 269 of the Acts of 2022. And this was to give a larger cost of living adjustment than usual, from 3% to 5% to the COLA base. And this was recommended by our attorneys and town staff, and we don't need to pay this right away. We'll have some time to implement that, so it's not going to hit us all at once. We had an update from the Trail Coordination and Management Committee, and they had a slideshow that they presented, and they talked about the work they've been doing. So feel free to check out this slide presentation, which is in our meeting packet, or you can watch it on TV. We had an update on Center School, and as well from the Permanent Building Committee, as well as other townhouses, because it looks like if the new Elmwood School is approved as proposed, which would be on Hayden Row, then the Elmwood School property would also become vacant as a school, and we have to see if we want to reuse that for other municipal uses or want to sell it or what we'd like to do. So Dan McIntyre will be exploring that. The Permanent Building Committee will talk to town departments to see what needs they still have for space and if they would fit at Center or Elmwood, or if we could do some private-public partnership for either of those sites. Anyway, I think we all expressed urgency on that because the Center School has been empty for a long time, and we don't want to have 2 empty properties that we're still maintaining without a reuse plan. Let's see, we discussed the FY24 budget. We didn't have a big discussion on this, but we noted that the Appropriation Committee is having budget reviews with senior leaders, and there will be on April 10th, there'll be a public hearing on the FY24 budget by the Appropriation Committee, which you can certainly watch on TV or attend. And then we talked about annual town meeting, the warrant, and we decided to remove the Alteros tax increment financing agreement from the warrant because the property that they were hoping to buy is under agreement by a different company now. So they are still looking for another property in Hopkinton, but it won't be ready for this town meeting, but possibly a future town meeting. And then we voted to have the annual town meeting at the Hopkinton Middle School this year. During COVID, it was held at the high school, but everyone agreed for accessibility reasons. The middle school seems to be the better choice. Easier to hear, easier to see the screen, seats are more comfortable. And they've improved the HVAC there since we were last there. So the town meeting will be at the middle school this year. And then we had a report from the town manager, like we always do, on the Main Street project, on the PFAS, on the MWRA connection. And let's see. Oh, and a new one was that the Upper Charles Trail, a regional Upper Charles Trail support letter for the legislative team about an East Coast Greenway connection, which is apparently a really long greenway. I believe it goes all the way from Maine down the East Coast. And we might be able to have a connection that would connect to our Upper Charles Trail as well. And the BAA has increased our contribution to the community for the support that we provide for the marathon. So that is great. And then the town manager gave us an update on the sustainability, equity, and economic development position that he had proposed. He's trying to get a pay classification for that so he can begin posting the job and have an appropriate salary range ready for the person. Let's see. No one had any liaison reports or board invites. And for future board agenda items, Shaidol asked about, again, having some kind of volunteer recognition for all our town board and committee volunteers over the summer. And so we'll try to get that on a meeting soon. And I believe that was it. Thank you.